Hello everyone, this is Satish Kumar. I am here with another lesson for current affairs, UPSC Civil Services. So in this lesson we are going to learn about the Reciprocal Access Agreement that is signed between Australia and Japan recently. We will see what it is. Okay. So recently Japan and Australia came together and signed a defense deal which is considered as a landmark deal because Japan has not signed a deal for nearly 60 years now with another country that is related to defense. That is, it made one such defense deal with USA in the 1960s. Okay, so after 60 years, Japan once again engaging in a defense deal, that is with Australia. Okay, that is the deal called Reciprocal Access Agreement. Okay, this was signed during a meeting held between Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga and Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison. Okay, by this agreement, by this pact, it allows Japanese and Australian troops to visit each other countries and conduct training and joint operations. Okay, and both of these countries believe that this treaty will strengthen their security ties and facilitate cooperation between their defense forces. And also, the two sides agreed to support each other or protect each other when the other country needs any defending. Okay, so for example, Japanese military will protect Australian forces if needed. Similarly, Australia will support Japanese when it needs its protection. Okay, so that is kind of deal. This deal, it took nearly 6 years, that is between 2014 to 20, and although it is signed by the executives of both the countries, that is the Prime Minister of both the countries, it is yet to be ratified by the lawmakers of both the countries. Okay, so there is the two branches, executive and legislature, and in these countries, once the deal that is signed by the executive has to be approved by the lawmakers. So only then it will become. So although since it is signed by their executive, it is seen that it will pass that also. Okay. Japan, as I said earlier, has struck only a deal like this defense deal in the past 60 years, only one such deal. Okay, that is why it is very important. So some other aspects related to this deal, see why they are signing this kind of deals. Okay, see, this deal is mainly seen as a measure to counter the China's growing influence in the South China Sea and the Pacific Islands. In both these areas, both Australia and Japan are concerned about China's increasing its flexing its muscles. Okay, China of late is becoming very aggressive, and so Japanese and Chinese they feel that any change in the status quo in this region by unilaterally by any country will change the status quo, and they are opposed to this. Okay, so they are saying that there is a serious concern in the South China Sea. They did not mention the name of China, but they are mentioning that there are serious concern in the South China Sea, and there are unilateral attempts to change the status quo, and this will result in huge tension. So they are coming together, for both Australia and Japan are coming together to counter this. Okay, and see, both Australia and Japan have recently signed the RCEP, that is Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, in which China is a member. Okay, so both these countries are trying to engage with China for economic matters, but politically they are signing a deal which is this reciprocal access agreement, which is against them. So this is two parallel threads that these countries are doing with China, that is cooperation at one end and confrontation at the other end. Okay, that has always been the case between Japan and China. Okay, uh, see, Japan and China, you could say, are like India and Pakistan. Okay, the two Asian giants. That is the guy that once Japanese that emerged earlier as the Asian giant, and at present China is emerging even bigger than Japanese. No, so there is a conflict of interest between them. Whenever such a thing happens, there will be a conflict. Okay, so they have a very tense relationship, but they also have a deep economic ties. Okay, both these countries are doing a vast amount of trade. Okay, among themselves. Okay, and for China, Japan, during the before the Second World War, Japan invaded China. You know, in the world history classes, in the 1931, Japanese invaded Manchuria, and up to the Second World War, for a long period of time, they held a lot of areas in China. Okay, Japanese. So it was considered as a brutal invasion by China. That's why in fact, the Sino-Japanese war even dates before that. Okay, that Japanese invaded China even before that, due to that Korean and other things, no, and all other things. Okay, so Japan and China always have some issues. Okay, and China believes that Japanese have not yet made any regret of their invasion to China. Okay, when they invaded in the 1930s, no, they have yet not regretted. Okay, that is what openly regretted Japanese. Okay, that is what China says. And also Japanese after the Second World War, no, it has always had a close relationship with USA. In fact, USA was one of the reason for Japanese to emerge as a powerful nation after the Second World War. Even the USA putting a bomb in Japanese. Okay, in fact, Japanese emerged so quickly. That is because of the ties that both Japanese and US had with among themselves. Okay, and this relationship between USA and Japanese, no, in fact, the USA helped Japanese because it wanted somebody to counter both China and Russians emergence. Okay, they want somebody equally stronger. Okay, so it is seen by China as Japanese as always as their enemy. Okay, some sort of like that, competitor, not enemy. I would say enemy, competitor. Okay, Japanese and Chinese are always seen. Even if you see their Olympic Games, no, Japanese and Chinese, no, they will be very, very competitive. You should never compare India with China. Okay, when compared to India with China, although we could say that India and China are two of the largest population country, and we both emerging as a big country, no, but China is far ahead of India. Okay, but Japanese and Chinese are very, very highly competitive countries. Okay, and in recent times, no, both Japan and China had developed some territorial disputes. Okay, especially the Senkaku Islands in the 2012, no, both of them are claiming the Senkaku Islands. Okay, the dispute related to Senkaku Islands. In fact, the Senkaku Islands is known as Daiyahu in China. Okay, and Tio Utai in Taiwan. And all these three countries, Taiwan, China and Japan, are claiming ownership for this island. Okay, you have to know what is this island, why they are claiming over this. Okay, and this has emerged as a major issue between Japan and China. And there is also, for these countries, no, the Southeast Asian region, no, which both of them see as their own influence. Japanese has always seen as a major factor, major country having major influence in the Southeast Asia, and in recent times China is emerging as a competitor for them. That is also another reason for some sort of dispute between Japan and China. Okay. So what is the issue with Senkaku Islands? Okay, these kind of questions could be asked in UPSC. Very, very important. See, the Senkaku Islands, which is located in the East China Sea, no, this is located between Japan and China, and it is also between Japan and Taiwan, and like that. Okay, so all three of them are claiming ownership for this area. See, the this Senkaku Islands is nothing but a group of islands in the East China Sea. Okay, it is an archipelago. There are some say it is 8 islands, others say 5 uninhabited islands and 3 barren rocks. Okay, and it is a area of just 7 square kilometer. Okay, total area of just 7 square kilometer. But these islands are very strategically important for their shipping areas, lanes. Okay, and also it offers rich fishing grounds, and it is also believed that there are some oil deposits. And after the oil controversy came in the 1972s, no, this area became very controversy between Japan and China. Okay, China says that historically this island belonged to China since ancient times. Okay, they are used to fish. It used as the fishing grounds, and it is administered by the province which was previously with China. Okay, in fact, after World War II, Taiwan became a separate country. We all know those stories. Okay, see, during the 1895 conflict between Japanese and China, no, when first Japanese attacked China, at that time China got defeated very brutally by Japanese, and they signed a treaty. In that treaty, Taiwan was given to China. Okay, so when Taiwan was given, Taiwan, which was administering Senkaku Islands, will also naturally will go to Japan in 1895. Okay, but and in after Second World War, when Second World War finished, no, in the 1945, and in the 1951, when there was a treaty made between USA and the Japanese, which was the Treaty of San Francisco. It was a treaty with Japan, the Treaty of San Francisco, after the Second World War, to renegotiate peace with other countries. In this treaty, Taiwan was returned by Japanese, but it was held by USA. In 1951, when Japanese returned Taiwan, no, it was not given to Japan. It was not given to China, which was originally the case, because Taiwan was taken from China by Japan. When by the Treaty of San Francisco, when Japanese returned Taiwan, it was held by USA itself. So USA had it with under their control between 1951 to 1972, and in 1972, by an agreement, they gave it back to Japan and not to China. Okay, this is how this problem has emerged. So at present, it is with Japan. So the China are claiming this is our island, please give it back to us. Okay, we want that. That is how this problem is that. Okay, I hope you understand what is this, because if you understand the world history only, you will also understand this. In fact, that is why the Japanese invasion of China are all becoming very important. Okay, if you know, if you have an idea of those things, it will be very useful. That is why I try to give all you the fact. If you haven't know this, go and learn my lesson on Japan-China war and all other things. Okay, in fact, it will be under my lesson on imperialism on Japan. Okay, which is also very important. So this is between Japan and China. And what is the relation between China and Australia? See, China and Australia are having quite what kind of frosty relationship in recent years, and it has increased in this year, especially after coronavirus came. No, it has increased. It has deteriorated rapidly. The Australia-China relationship, and both of them are now seeing each other as a enemy. Okay, because of two major events. First is in March 2020, when the coronavirus came, no, Australia brought in new rules to prevent foreign takeovers of Australian companies. See, because of the coronavirus, countries have imposed lockdown, and companies in the countries will face a shutdown like that. No, when these kind of opportunities available, no, countries with plenty of money, no, especially China, no, they are taking hostile takeovers of other countries' companies, especially. In fact, that is the reason why Australia wanted to impose this rule. So it brought a new rule to prevent foreign takeovers of Australian companies. So that is again aimed at China. Okay. Then Australian Prime Minister in the month of April, no, he said that there should be an international inquiry into the origins of this coronavirus, which is said to be originated in China. Okay, he said that, and this also angered the China. So China seen that Australia is acting against our interests, so they retaliated in May 2020 by banning the beef from Australia. Okay, especially Australians beef firms, no, four major firms, no, are importing to China 35% of the Australian beef exports. Okay, so that Australians beef export 35% of their beef exports going to China. So such a large thing was banned by China. Okay, it is again going to affect Australia. Okay, and China also retaliated by another thing by imposing 80% tariff on barley imports from Australia. Okay, and Australia also announced, China also announced that they are launching an anti-dumping investigation into Australian wine. Okay, so China is acting very aggressively for Australia doing two things. They are coming with four things. Okay, in fact, Australia's beef, Australia's barley, and Australia's and wine. All these sectors are going affected because these three are major area of trade with China. Okay, so Australian. So this is how this what you say, this contentious relationship has evolved. Okay, in fact, to retaliate this, no, what Australia did was it said that there has been a cyber attack on Australian business by some sophisticated state-based actor. They did not say what is the name, but when it is say a state-based actor and it is sophisticated, it is naturally targeting China. Okay, so this is how this relationship, and despite this relationship, Australia has signed this RCEP with China, and it is also engaging with this RAA with Japan to counter the China, and Australia in recent times has also with the Quad, no, they joined with the Quad is strengthening. Quad is also strained as between Japanese, Australia, India, and USA. All these four countries coming together is also seen as a way to counter China. Okay, so Australia is doing all these things. In fact, Australia also joined the Malabar exercise, which is previously which is a naval exercise, which is previously conducted between India, Japan, and USA. Australia also joined that this year. Okay, that is because they are seeing China as some sort of the relationship between China and Australia has worsened. Okay, so that is the what is the relation between Australia and China. So now, what are the concerns for China? We also need to know what is China's view on all these things. See, China views this RAA, it is against them, because even though they are not saying anything about this, both Japanese and Australians, it is naturally seen this is against them. So they are trying to sandwich us, both Japanese and Australians, and they are saying that this will increase the atmosphere in this region, Asia Pacific region. The confrontational atmosphere will further increases. Okay, and China says that it wants to, even though it wants a peace in this region. China says it wants peace in this region, and if China also follow this kind of confrontational atmosphere that is both Japanese and Australia are engaging, uh, this will this will result in security reasons for or trouble for peace and stability in this region. Okay, and they say that these two countries are giving a new lever to USA to divide Asia. Okay, so they are providing some chance for USA, which is seeing as China as a big competitor. Okay, in fact, China is emerging as a bigger country than USA in recent times, and USA is always having a deep apathy towards China in recent times. So, what is China's concern is both these countries are giving chances for USA to have some sort of lever in to divide Asia, and this will result in further conflict in this region, and it will affect all three of us, that is Japan, Australia and China. USA will be safer like that it is saying. Okay, so that is the concern of China. So this is the very important thing about this agreement, recent agreement. Please try to know what is this RAA, and please try to learn about the relation between Australia and Japan, relation between Japanese and Chinese. In fact, the historical thing is very important, and also the historical conflict between historical relationship between USA and Japan, because Japanese has emerged as a powerful nation because of USA. Okay, learn all those things. It will be very, very useful for this examination. Okay, with this I end this lesson. Bye.